What's going on, everybody? Good to see you again. Welcome back to a little more energized Saturday evening. We love to see everybody in here. Thankful to have 85 folks watching right now. Hopefully pick up a few more as we go along here. But I'm Eric. This is Corey. We're here to watch the bottom of the ninth here, see if our Red Legs can get out of Houston tonight with a first win of the series and force a pivotal Game 3 tomorrow at Daikin Park. But yeah, we appreciate you joining us tonight. We're going to be along for the ride. We'll recap everything once the game's over. Really exciting start to the night. Going to be a lot to talk about, a lot more energizing, a lot more excitement. Look, they give us 2 shows a week, man, and of course they give us absolutely squat to talk about last night and give us everything in the world to talk about tonight. So really exciting and looking forward to it. As we sit 13-8, Reds have 12 hits, Astros at 13. We'll see how this thing shakes out. I believe we're going to see, even in a 5-run ball game, we are going to see Emilio Pagan, which is interesting. Like yesterday, you get the chance to go from Martinez to Suter, and so the bullpen gets that day off basically yesterday. And then, tonight it's gone through the taxing situation, but really has come through to this point. So if Pagan can get out of here before giving up 5 runs, we'll take a victory tonight and start crowning some champions, man.
No doubt.
He does get 7, 8, 9 here in the night, so that'll be interesting.
All right, let's start a new tradition, brother. When we're up in the 9th, cheers.
Cheers to you.
Yes, sir.
As well as the Reds bat, so is Busch Light Apple, both back this evening. Oh, man. So here we go.
Yes, sir. That tastes a little better than what we were swallowing down last night in the
9th. Yeah. Freaking hard pill to swallow watching us get shut out for the 5th time in a row, man. It's always rough that way.
Ain't that the truth?
No. Speaking of tea, it does look like from a chat standpoint, we're not everybody's cup of tea, nor do we ever want to be. That means you're too vanilla. So if we ain't for you, sorry.
Right.
If we are for you, you right.
Yeah. We like you.
Oh, man.
Shoot.
Well, I mean, Pagan's working ahead in the count early. So, yeah, this would be a big one here. Bro, that's it hard. That might leave the yard, but defensive replacement. Reese Hines gives way to TJ Friedl deep in the track for the first out of the inning. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm glad somebody took that one over. That got a little hairy there.
Oh, the drinks had to come out in the 3rd. Oh, man, we were celebrating hard. There after the 1st, I was popping champagne. And then after the 3rd, I picked up smoking. That's what came out in the 3rd inning. I smoked a carton with Singer just giving up laser after laser there. I mean, there was not a lot of swing and miss involved in his game tonight. But, my God, in that 3rd inning, I'm not sure if you and I get in the box if we don't tag him for a double.
Yeah, that's just the way. I kept leaving the breaking ball up, man. He's having trouble getting low in the zone.
There we go. That's a good one out in foul territory. If you're at home, get on your feet. It's time for a 3rd out.
Let's go.
Tell you what, kudos to the folks in Houston. I don't know if it's the microphone in the audience or what it is, but man, this place has sounded like Cowboy even said it on the broadcast as much. He said, you wouldn't know this team's down 5 because after that home run to put them down 5, on their way back, he said they feel like they're right in this thing.
Oh yeah,
the crowd gave it up. I mean, they were after our guys. They were getting going, and I think who comes in after Singer there? Walks the first guy, and then the crowd's really on him, and thankfully we're able to get out of that without giving up too much more.
Right, Lyon Richardson. Shout out to my guy. He's just been nails here the last couple outings.
And hopefully he doesn't have to fall on the sword. And we'll get into what that bullpen looks like here in a minute. But, after a day of taxing right now, you're on your 11 games in a row streak here that they've had short starts. They've had rain delays. They've had a bunch of different situations that they've had to work around. And so really exciting to see the bullpen kind of still continue to get their flowers in a game like this with Emilio Pagan with a 2-1 count with 2 outs and nobody on and a 5-run lead. As long as he can close this out, we'll be in a good spot here tonight, and we'll be able to, we'll for sure talk about the bullpen.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to be a focal point. They need their flowers. It is some serious work, especially after coming off that rough start.
Yeah, and then I see you there, Alex Wallace, Chase Petty tomorrow too. That's what we're going to talk about here. I think they when they talk about, where the bullpen's at and what the situation is. Do we have to bring a guy up on the off chance that he does short start us again? And so I want to make sure that we're in there. Where are the brothers? Miss Caroline Boone. We are right here. I'm Eric. This is Corey. We are
the brothers.
That's us. We are the Phillips brothers. We are very happy to be here. Nick and Tracy's giving us a chance, giving us a microphone, giving us a couple beers. Actually, okay, we bought our own beers, but we're here to entertain. We're here to have some fun. It's a good Saturday night to be a Reds fan. When you put up 10 runs in the first inning, you feel like you're on easy street. Then you smoke a carton of cigarettes in the third. It's the old Marge shot way. Oh, man.
Oh. Right,
Optimistic John, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for giving us some good vibes out here. We do love to see it. And like I said, we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. We're going to piss a lot of people off. In the process, it's going to happen. We try to come with something that's a little bit different. We're going to, we're a little more buttoned up tonight coming into this thing. We had a chance to compare some notes, listen back to some podcasts, and we're going to try to continue to get better. It's our fourth show ever doing this, so we're really excited to be here, really pumped up. Tell you what I'm not pumped up about, and that's a freaking runner reaching here with 2 outs. So Here comes now the top of the order to see Emilio Pagan, but 2 outs, runner on first. Hopefully getting ready to close this thing out.
Let's roll one over here and get out of this.
Game Day 513, thank you, sir. Didn't really the captain obvious of that, knowing that optimistic John is optimistic. That's all. Yeah, that's fantastic.
No. Down in the corner.
Yep, that's a double to the corner. That's going to make it 13-9. And we better start drinking heavily here, folks.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Let's take another one just in case.
Oh, no.
Come on, Emilio. Come on. Just get it out and get out of this.
One thing you see in the replay of that there as it goes over as it goes over his head over third base. The one thing with Noelvi Marte going out, love Noelvi, love the streak that he was on. I hate that he's going to be out for a significant period of time, but having Santiago Espinal's bat in the lineup every day, we were talking about, where's he going to play? Where's he going to play? Just settling in at third base. He is so dependable. I absolutely love what he's doing. Everything about his game and going in the right direction. And he's everything we want Matt McClain to be at second base, but being able to pull it over from third, it's nice. An unfortunate win for the team and find a spot for him with Noelvi going down.
He's a ball player, man. Just night in and night out, dude gets it done. There's nothing flashy about him, but somebody besides his batting average right now is lights out. So it's hard not to put his stick in the lineup. Carolyn
Boone, I hope you're in the right spot. We got an 0-2 count. Bang! That's going to do it for us. We appreciate you guys.
Let's go.
13-9. We're going to be on the other side of this thing. There's a good story about a 13-year-old on the other side of this thing. We got a good story about a Connor Joe kid in Cambridge, Ohio to talk about as well. We're going to get into a lot of things. We appreciate you guys joining us for the 9th. On the other side of this, I think it's like a minute and 50-second break. We're going to recap the game and get into some stuff.
Let's go.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Win! Line to right field. Genius, the first Red ever. Win 4 home runs.
Welcome back, everybody. It's me, Corey T, joined by my brother, Eric Phillips. And we are back here on Chatterbox Reds. Thanks for joining us tonight on what was a great night at the ballpark. A lot more fun than what we had to watch, what we had to sit through last night. Man, it was nice to see the offense working, open back up and get going there in the first inning, putting up that 10 spot in the first and getting us going. So it was a lot of fun tonight as we put up a 13-8 win against the Houston Astros. So rundown perspective tonight, man, we're going to talk. Matt and Elly are back. It was pretty exciting to see our top guys performing well and try to ride our horses there to the victory. The run supports were back for Brady Singer. Brady Singer didn't exactly return the favor tonight, but the run supports were back for Brady Singers for topic 2. Topic 3, we're going to give our bullpen their flowers. Our bullpen put out an excellent performance after a rough start from Brady Singer and giving up 7 runs there. So we're definitely going to give our bullpen the flowers tonight. And I want to talk about our new additions, Connor Joe and Willie Benson. Man, they made a big difference in tonight's lineup, especially Connor Joe having a couple hits and a couple RBIs there. So big night at the ballpark, Eric. Give us your thoughts and give us a little box score recap.
Yeah, so you're trying to get into it and just recap it for you real quick. I'll try to be precise. Actually going to go through the box score itself. So your Cincinnati Reds beat the Houston Astros 13-9. The Reds ended up with 12 hits, Astros with 14. Neither team had an error. All led by a 10-run first for your Cincinnati Redlegs, 2 in the third and 1 in the sixth. The Astros had 1 in the first, 6 in the third, 1 in the fifth, and then 1 in there in the ninth as they scratched along and got 1 off the Pagan. But all in all, a great night at the ballpark for these guys. It was a 6:10 start down at Daikin, or 7:10 Eastern start at Daikin Park there in Houston. I believe, Corey, we're actually getting on later with an hour earlier start than what we got on last night after a 3-0 loss. And so good to be here. But we're going to go through that first inning in detail here just because that's really where things took off. And our first inning gets out of there. You have Lance McCullers coming back after missing all of 2023 and 2024, getting his right arm taken care of. Lance McCullers comes back. The city of Houston's really excited to have him back. He was an integral part when they were winning world championships. He makes his first start tonight. I was a little apprehensive. We tend to struggle with guys that are making their major league debuts or in big spots and things like that. And a guy that, has a history of being the ace of their staff, was really kind of nervous about what we were getting into there. And so now that we're into it, we get into this first one and, in the first inning, he starts everything by walking TJ, then gets to Matt McClain, and Matt McClain gets hit by a pitch, and then Elly gets off his schneid. Elly sends an opposite field rocket into the Crawford boxes and makes it 3-0. Then a Santiago Espinal walk, a Spencer Steer walk, and then Tyler Stevenson with a sharp single out to right field made it 4-0 Redlegs. Will Benson then came up and hit a sharp double down the right field line. A sharp double to the right field corner, making it 5-0 Redlegs, and that's when Lance McCullers Jr. was lifted. After just a third of an inning in his first start in 2 years, the old boy just had to go out, and he gave it up, and it was tough, but that made way for Logan Van Way. And as he entered, he also walks Connor Joe. That walks the bases loaded. Then TJ Friedl singles. It's still the first inning, and that makes it 6-0 Redlegs, and the bases are still loaded. McClain then walks, making it 7-0. Elly grounds out into a weird fielder's choice where his speed and the shift that they had on made them have the only play at second base, making it 8-0. And 2 outs. And then Gavin Lux singles, and TJ and Matt McClain come around for the second time and score to make it 10-0. In the bottom of the first, Brady Singer does give up a run, making it 10-1. But then we get into the third inning where we, started to see some of it come back. We're up 10-1. Connor Joe pops out. TJ Friedl singles and reaches base for the third time in the game. And then Matty McClain. They said it went to the Crawford boxes. If you've ever been in Daikin Park, what used to be the Juice Box and Minute Maid, which is also used to be Enron Field, there's a section above the Crawford boxes. It's got these big advertisements. He hit a rocket off of that facade that then bounced back into the Crawford boxes. This thing was a bomb. If you're in Great American Ballpark, this is a bleacher shot that Matty McClain was able to hit. And so we're really excited about seeing both Elly and Matt get their bombs, but that made it 12-1 Reds. Everything's good. Brady Singer's in there. He can throw strikes. Not a big deal. And that's when the buttholes puckered up, because then we get into the bottom of the third, and we as we go along, they pull Jose Altuve, Brendan Rodgers singles, and then Isaac Paredes doubles on a fly ball. Connor Joe. Jeremy Peña scores. Brendan Rodgers the third, and then as it goes on, Christian Walker triples. Yanier Diaz grounds out. That makes it 12-5 Red Legs. Zach DeCenzo, Ohio State Buckeye, doubles on a ball to Connor Joe. Victor Caratini homers, hits his second homer of the year, making it 12-7 Reds. And that's when Brady Singer has to get yanked from the game. So Brady Singer only goes, let me double check here. Brady Singer only goes 2.1, 2 innings, gives up 9 hits, 7 runs, all 7 of them earned. Did only walk a batter, but only had 1 strikeout as well, inflating his ERA to 4.97. He turned the ball over to Lyon Richardson. And his inherited runners there. He did a good job of straining guys. Lyon Richardson goes 1.2 innings, or 1 2/3. Scott Barlow throws a third. Graham Ashcraft gives us a great middle relief effort of 1 2/3 innings. Luis May gives us a great inning. Tony Santillan gives us a great inning. And Emilio Pagan gives up a run in the bottom of the 9th and a 5-run lead. Not a terrible situation, but Emilio Pagan gives us that one. And your Cincinnati Redlegs win this thing 13-9. Again, it's all about that first and third inning. There is one more score there that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, and that's when we get into our boy Connor Joe, when he was able to play add-on when we go from 12-7 to 13-7. That felt like a monumental run at the time, but we'll get into that when we get out to Connor. But yeah, that's your recap for tonight. Again, Redlegs win 13-9. No errors on the game. Pretty clean game from a defensive standpoint. Brady Singer left a lot of balls up. Corey, what did you think about tonight's performance?
Really exciting, man. It was fun to watch. I mean, obviously, watching Brady Singer give up those runs there in the third, I was definitely starting to get a little nervous. I think the tying run did end up coming to the plate at one point, and so the Cowboy even referenced it on the broadcast. That place was rocking still. They never did feel out of it as far as the crowd was concerned. But good night for the offense, man. Really, really exciting to see Elly get off the schneid a little bit, Matt McClain get off the schneid a little bit. The top of our lineup was just absolute nails tonight, with Friedl getting on 5 out of 6 times. So just a really fun night at the ballpark, and seeing the 2 additions in the corner outfields make a difference in the offensive part of the lineup. There was a couple plays that each one of them had that, I mean, Connor Joe could have made a little bit better throw. Will Benson may have been able to make that catch in right field had he been playing right field on a regular basis, but that's not something we're going to knock him about, man. It was exciting to see them make a difference in the lineup. I think they both ended up having at least 1 RBI, and I know Connor Joe had at least a couple hits. So it was definitely exciting to see, man. And speaking of Elly's home run ended up being our DSC deep drive of the game. Deep drive of the game was Elly De La Cruz's 3-run home run in the first inning, going 354 feet, 102 miles an hour off the bat. That's our DSC deep drive of the game. It's always sponsored by Deep South Commodities. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thanks, as always, to our friends at DSC.
Yes, very much so. Thank you. And whoever's on the other end of that Oppo rocket from Elly there in the top of the first, that hurt. That thing was coming out 102 mile an hour. I think that thing hit the seats going at least 100. So if you ever wanted to know what it's like to get into the facing 100 mile an hour, try to catch Elly's home run there in the Crawford boxes, because you got about a split second to react, because that ball's on you quick out there. But no, awesome to see Elly get off the schneid. I'd love to see the deep drive of the game come from our guys in a winning effort and get those home runs. That shot from Matty was a bomb too. That was exciting. And Mott Fish Flakes, appreciate the super chat there. That was exciting, a little too exciting. Again, by the third inning, I picked up smoking, and I'm going to be a pack a day guy from here on out. So, it's great to see Brady Singer somehow has the luck of the Irish in him and is getting that opportunity to get these run supports. We made a joke about it. It's a great band name. If Cincy Shirts is out there, man, print them up. Brady Singer and the run supports. I think it was Luke Weaver 2 years ago. Not a great outing ever, always giving up 4 and 5 runs, but somehow always managed to push across 7 and got that opportunity to be the guy that, we didn't score runs in bunches ever, but it seemed like every time he was on the mound, that's a great opportunity to go. So
anytime, makes you wonder what's going on pregame when Singer's on the mound. Seeing they're shaking these guys up, or got Joe Boo in the locker. You know what I mean? Something's going on there, man. Because my guys they seem to put it on every time he's out on the mound. So whatever he's doing, keep it going, man. Keep it going for sure.
Yeah, and he had an opportunity. I don't know if he bought him some good Texas barbecue. There's a lot of really good food down there in Houston. But whatever it was, feed it to him again, because tomorrow we got an opportunity to get back to 500. You take this road trip, you have an opportunity to close it out on the right foot, win a series, come back home after a day off on Monday. You come home against a not a very good White Sox team. and you would expect to take 2 or 3 there. And, now we're starting to look back on the optimistic side of things, and things are starting to turn around. Somebody had mentioned there, I think it was Todd, said, Eric, your rant last night must have lit the team up again. We're speaking words out here, man. We're just kind of talking into the abyss, but at the same time, Kirby talks about some moves that need to be made, and the next day things happen. We go on a rant last night and talk about how McClain and Elly need to go ahead and get moved down because they're not producing. It doesn't take 15 pitches, and Elly puts one in the Crawford boxes. So whatever we got to say, you know what? We'll still drag Spencer Steer through the mud tonight. Maybe he can be the hero of the game tomorrow. So, and a night where you have an offensive explosion, he still doesn't contribute hardly at all. So, I think he gets on base once with a walk, but that's about it. And the struggle continues for Spencer. But hopefully things do seem to find a way, but now there's somebody breathing down his neck, and that's somebody's Connor Joe. He had an opportunity out in left field tonight, and had that chance to put the bat on the ball in a big spot late in the game. They extended the lead from a grand slam to it's going to take multiples in order to beat us. And so love what Connor Joe did tonight. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see this team continue to develop. Austin Hayes not hurt. I know, pregame we saw a lot of the fears of, oh my God, he can't come back. All he did was DH yesterday, but they are taking it easy on him in this first week. They mentioned it towards the end of the broadcast. He did get to come back in a pinch hit situation for Will Benson late in the game. So no fear in Austin Hayes, not anything that, they had kicked around or a possibility of going back to the IL. I think they're trying to get it right with the health and wellness side of things for him. So really, really pumped up to see. But if the team's going to score runs like this, you got to go down and get some tickets, man. You got to get on Game Time. You got to figure it out, because Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Chatterbox Sports. We use it all the time. The all-in seat pricing and the buy with one tap. If you have your credit card preloaded, once you use them once, or you got to use them again, there's a buy with one tap. You know what section you're there. If you've been to the ballpark several times, you know what you're looking for. You're knowing what deal, what price range you want to be in. I find the ticket that I want for 12, 15, 19 bucks, whatever it might be. In 2 clicks, I'm in, I'm out. My tickets are loaded in the MLB Ballpark app. They come across. They are a trusted partner of Major League Baseball, and so we're really excited about what they do there. But your all-in pricing shows you your total with fees before checking out. Panoramic seat views. You have the opportunity to actually, if you've not been to the ballpark a lot, take a look down there. So take a look and see what the vantage point is. What you're going to have. Are you in foul ball territory? Are you behind the net? Are you out there in the outfield where you can catch one of these Elly stingers? Whatever it might be. They also have event cancellation protection, automatic full refunds for events that are canceled and not rescheduled. They have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CBOX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms to apply. But again, create an account and redeem your code, and make sure that code is CBOX for $20 off of your first order.
Yeah, please do yourself a solid. If you haven't downloaded the Game Time app and at least checking the prices out, you're doing yourself a disservice. The guys at Game Time are fantastic. So we are riding a little bit of a high tonight, man, but definitely with some of these Reds lined up, especially when we seem to score a lot of runs, sometimes we seem to bounce back and not be able to score for a little while. So hopefully that's not the case. But if that ever is the case and you're down on yourself, man, you can always call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health, whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between. 988 is 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay.
You know who's okay right now? Matty McClain. Matty McClain gets off the shine tonight and gets himself going when we get into our second topic here with Elly and Matt being back. Back is a very strong term. They've made an appearance. They're here. They have a pulse. They can still hit the baseball really long way. They can still contribute to a winning team. This is going to be a lot of fun. And so when we see this, you've got Matt McClain scoring 3 times tonight, 1 hit, 3 RBIs, but also scoring 3 runs. Elly, 4 RBIs tonight, 1 hit, and scored a run himself. TJ Friedl, 4 at-bats, 3 hits, only 1 RBI, but he scores 3 runs himself, and he takes 2 walks. I mean, that's what you need. 1, 2, 3, absolutely set the table. I think it was 11 pitches is what it took to make it 3-0 Redlegs when Elly gets that opportunity to produce and be the guy that we put him in the 3-hole to be. That Elly that we saw tonight, that approach of hitting the ball hard the other way, if that's where they're going to throw you, he saw the pitch he wanted. He took it the other way, and it was an absolute strike. Like I said, it was our DSC deep drive of the game. But seeing Matt and Elly come back together and just kind of put things together back to back, it's refreshing. It makes me step back from the ledge a little bit because like last night I was ready to go off the deep end. I mean, it was really tough. It's trying times. I mean, we're still looking at a 168 hitter in the 2-hole. Like even after tonight's game, that's rough to swallow. But when you start to see the progress and things start to come together, he's seeing better pitches. Matty McClain can do this. He can. He's done it before. Granted, it was only for a half a season, but coming back from these injuries and things like that, hopefully tonight gives him an opportunity to get started and get going in the right direction.
You're absolutely right. Watching Matt McClain and Elly De La Cruz lead the Cincinnati Reds is like a drink of water, man. It feels like we've been walking through the desert looking for a drink for a long time, and tonight was the drink of water that we've been looking for, man. We go as these two go. I mean, back is definitely a strong word. Don't get me wrong. And I think I typed that into the Google Docs probably around the second or third inning when I was still riding the high. So back is definitely a strong word. Don't get me wrong, but there's only one way to start, and tonight was definitely a good starting point. So hopefully we keep those guys rolling because it's just more fun to watch, man. When our middle infield is performing at the top of their game.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that didn't tune in last night, I did get out ahead of myself there, John. And I know you're saying you loved it. I listened back to it this morning. I'm like, ooh. I was also trying to be nudged into a 988 read, and I couldn't pick up a signal for anything. I couldn't take a hint. It was just right over my head, but it was awesome, man. And we're still figuring this thing out, Corey and I, but we're having a lot of fun doing it. But the game tonight, a lot of fun. Again, your Red Legs win 13-9 down in Houston. We've got a chance to split or to win a series tomorrow. I believe it is Chase Petty going back to the mound. So the call up from Hunter Green going to the IL. In what would be either Andrew Abbott's spot or possibly Hunter Green's spot if he is healthy is going to be Chase Petty tomorrow. So what do you think about Chase coming back?
I'm excited. I think that guy's got the fire. Coming off a really good performance, what was the middle of the week last week where he went 6 innings, didn't give up an earned run, had a lot of strikeouts. So I'm really looking for this guy to bounce back. I know Tito's looking to hand him the ball. He was feeling some type of way coming off that rough start the first time around. So hopefully we can get Chase Petty back on the mound and get him rolling, man, because I really feel like he can be an integral part, especially if we start playing meaningful baseball in September. We're going to need more arms down the back end. And so I think Chase Petty is an integral part to this pitching staff. But speaking of this pitching staff, can we give our bullpen the flowers or what, man? Like tonight was just absolute nails when you had to have it. You had to have it. The first guy I want to shout out is Lyon Richardson. Lyon Richardson looks fantastic. Last 2 times out on the mound, he gave us 2 innings that we absolutely had to have in a big spot. Of course, I mean, for last time out, Graham Ashcraft ended up blowing it in the 9th, which left kind of a bad taste in your mouth. But those 2 innings and 2 strikeouts right there were huge following Lodolo's outing, and the 1.2 innings tonight. But that strikeout, no earned runs, that was a big spot right there, man. So I definitely want to give Lyon Richardson his flowers. Thoughts?
Richardson, Barlow, Ashcraft, May, Santillan, Pagan. Those 6 dudes gave us the opportunity to win a ball game tonight that if it's lost, you are talking about, you thought we were off the deep end last night. We were going to the train tracks out in Houston out there in left field tonight. Like that, it was going to be bad news bears had we had to log into this thing after blowing a 10th spot in the first inning. It was going to get really ugly. But this is what we didn't expect. This is the shot in the arm. You talk about, we mentioned it last night, a bunch of dudes just sitting around waiting on somebody to do the job. I'm not going to do it. You're going to do it. They're just waiting on these guys. They talk about hitting being contagious. You know what? Dominant pitching can be too. And it seems like this bullpen as a staff, you put Luis May in the middle of this thing, and he is continuing to get better. And I love what we're seeing out of him. He's not skipped a beat from what he was doing in Louisville. He stepped right in and he's filled a role, and he's already turned himself into what we're going to see as a 7th, 8th, 9th guy. Like, this is going to be a lot of fun to see him develop. There's still Maxwell down there too. Like, there's still iron sharpening iron. Like, this bullpen is ready to go. Yesterday, it should be called out again. Brent Suter comes in and gives you the innings to where all those guys got a day off. It's been a very taxing schedule. Tomorrow's going to be the 11th day in a row that we've played baseball. We've had short starts. We've had different situations where you've had the rain delays. You've had a lot of different things that have cut into and made these guys throw a ton of innings. If you look at your bullpen ahead tomorrow, Pagan can probably go again. Santillan can probably go again. I think May might need a day off because that would be like 4 and 5 days, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But Graham Ashcraft is probably taxed after going as many pitches as he did. Barlow would be, I think, a third time in 4 days. And Lyon Richardson threw a bunch of pitches tonight. So those guys are probably out. What I hope we don't see is Lyon Richardson having to fall on the sword for something that's not his fault, but in reality is actually his benefit and is giving him the opportunity to shine. If they have to play the roster squad and call somebody up, bring somebody down just to have an arm, because you do have Chase Petty going tomorrow. And if you don't make a move to have a long reliever ready to go, a Yosef Zulueta or somebody that can come in and tax these guys, somebody's got to go down in order for that arm to get here. I don't know what that looks like, but hopefully they can just kind of gut it out and Chase gives us a good start, and we hope for the best. But if you get into trouble early tomorrow, I don't know what your 2-3 inning arm looks like, coming out of there with Suter and Ashcraft both probably on the shelf.
Yep, and so you're definitely going to have to make some roster moves there. But I saw our guy Jeremy here in the chat saying the starters weren't good. Starters haven't been good, man, but we've been, thank goodness for the bullpen, playing team baseball and having somebody pick you up on the back end. You brought up Scott Barlow. Scott Barlow had a little bit of a rough outing, only getting an out, giving up 3 hits, and that one earned run right there. But then you get Graham Ashcraft coming out and 2 runners on the corners and 1 out. My guy gets out of it, and that felt like a really, really big spot right there. And that was actually, I think that was the bottom of the 5th, and then the top of the 5th, we actually left the bases loaded. So after you leave the bases loaded and giving up that run right there, kind of felt like a big spot. And then Graham Ashcraft comes in and shuts the door. So just playing good team baseball, man. When one guy's struggling, the next guy up seems to pick him up. So that was definitely good to see out of the bullpen guys tonight.
And Graham actually gets your win, and it pulls him to 3-3. That's crazy how many times Graham Ashcraft's been in a position of leverage this season in the middle innings. You know what I mean? Like, he's only been asked to close once, and he takes the loss there last night. But you're in a situation, or not last night, but 2 nights ago. But you're in a situation where he comes in and goes 1 2/3 innings, has 4 strikeouts. Like, his stuff is there. Like, he's dealing there in the middle, and I like what he is. I don't think he's the guy that you. There's an electricity to Graham. He loves the moment. He likes the big spot. He's a let me save this from going off the rails guy, not a hey, let me get the last 3 outs because that's what's important. Like, there's a weird way to use that electricity, and he's not all the pressure in the world. Got to get this or we lose. He is. Let me be the spearhead of what starts a comeback or what holds us to a 2-run lead and things like that. So I love him in that 5th, 6th inning when a starter isn't quite getting it done, but we still want to hang around a ball game. And then he comes in and gives us just quality work every time. And he's just been fantastic. You can't say enough about what Graham Ashcraft has meant to these guys. And again, Lyon Richardson, Brent Suter, guys that are going multiple innings and saving arms and giving us the opportunity to get through to these guys, to give you a May, Santillan, Pagan, 7, 8, 9. That doesn't happen if Suter's not doing his job, if Graham Ashcraft isn't doing his job, if Lyon Richardson's not being in the innings eater that he needs to be. We love what we've got going on in this bullpen. I hope it continues. Big Sugar's still sitting down there. I hope he gets a shot at some point in time. But right now, I don't want to see any one of these guys take off outside of maybe Taylor Rogers. That's the only dude that I feel like when he comes in, game's over.
You're holding your breath,
and not in the right way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he's not coming in a spot where you need him. He's coming in and clean up duty and in a situation that you don't trust him to get the big pitch out right now.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And with just rolling off the Graham Ashcraft talk, there's just an electricity that he brings to the ballpark when he's on. Like, that slider had so much life tonight, man. It was just nasty, and it just brings a charge to the ballpark. And I'll tell you who it reminds me of, the Nasty Boys, man. He's our Rob Dibble. We don't use him in the same capacity by any stretch of imagination, but I feel like he's that same kind of. He's on the mound. We got their back, gets everybody charged up, kind of thing. So he's reminiscent of my favorite squad, the 1990 World Championship team. Hard not to like those guys, but that's who he reminds me of, man. He's kind of our nasty boy, but in long inning spots when we need him the most.
Yeah, no, and when he's there and he has that thing going, and like say he gets 4 strikeouts tonight, you've got a ballpark that's riding a wave of momentum, and nothing cuts the sails out from under a rally like strikeouts. We curse Elly, we curse Matt, we curse Spencer Steer, Benson, Hines, all these high strikeout guys because they get up in big spots and they don't even put the bat on the ball. It seems like they're not even competitive. And Graham Ashcraft is able to come in and make dudes look silly with that slider. He's able to put these dudes away and in an opportunity where this ballpark's starting to roar. It's starting to get going. It's starting to, the juice box is starting to come alive. And, it's a 4-run game at the time when he comes in. And he's able to, slam that door, get a couple of strikeouts, put this thing away, and really make it a quiet game for the rest of the night. So, yeah, kudos to the bullpen. Love what they're doing. You want to get it down to our last topic here?
Yeah, good. Getting into the new additions, man. Adding Willie Benson to the lineup tonight and adding Connor Joe to the lineup tonight end up really paying off. I know Connor Joe had a couple hits. Both of them at least had one RBI. So it's nice to see our corner outfielders actually producing in the offensive part of the lineup. I know we got one little Cincinnati Reds fan here in town that was super excited to see Connor Joe join the Cincinnati Reds. Shout out to my guy Connor Joe Rafi. He's playing Little League baseball here for the Cambridge Reds here at our Cambridge Youth Baseball League. So he was super excited to see my guy Connor Joe coming to Cincinnati. So now they not only do they share the same team, they share the same name. My guy dressed up as Connor Joe a couple years ago for trick or treat, and so he couldn't be more excited to see my guy in a Reds uniform. So shout out to my guy Connor Rafi. I know he's pretty excited, but was really excited as a Reds fan to see that production coming out of the corner outfielders. What are your thoughts?
I'm not sure. Those of us who have been clamoring for Will Benson and give him a shot and feeling like he had the injustice of the 4 strikeouts out in San Francisco and going right back to Louisville and then watching him tear it up down there and really would have been leading our team if those home runs are hit on the major league level, and still would be, by the way. 7 leads 6 at my last check. But it's one of those, I think the first hit that he had, the double in the end of the corner, when he hits that ball hard, there's a sense of relief and pride and excitement that, okay, here we go. Benson is a streaky guy. He can win you games by himself when he's on. And if he can get us on that little bit of a run, and if he's the spark plug that you need, and he becomes one of the, just a serviceable guy out there in right field, you don't need world beaters, but if you've got somebody that can win you ball games and can be that little bit of energy, there's a difference between energy and leadership, like we talked about the other night. I think he brings energy. Leadership has still got to come from some other dudes like Elly and Matt at the top of the order, and that's where things have to start to trickle down. But, man, having that shot in the arm at the 7, 8, 9 spot where Connor Joe and Will Benson are going to live lightens the load for him, man. It makes it what would usually be, a 3-0 first inning, and we're going to the bottom of the first where, Blake Dunn comes up and doesn't give you much, or Hurtubise comes up and doesn't give you much. You have Connor Joe and Will Benson contribute to a 10-run first inning, and this thing explodes, and it's really over before it starts. And it gets a little close there later in the day, and then Connor Joe comes through with what was seemingly avoiding us from the first inning on. After the Matt McClain piece, and you go to 12, it gets to 12-7, and it's sitting at 12-7, and Daikin Park starting to get loud again, and every time that they get a couple people on, you feel like, oh my God, they're going to hit a shot, and it's going to be a 2-run game before you know it. And then Connor Joe extends it and goes out to 13, and that's the biggest 5 to 6 run lead. Sigh of relief I think I've had all season. It might be the only sigh of relief we have in that situation, but awesome to see Connor Joe come through in a spot. It does suck that he gets thrown out at second base on that play. That's playing those Mickey Mouse Crawford boxes out there in left field on a quick ball coming back into the infield. But it's going to be fun to see these guys, just get a chance and be something different. We asked for change. We got change. There's accountability going around. Team's one game under 500, man. If we can get this thing rolling, it's going to feel like a completely different team after this White Sox series, because we called our shot and said we have to go sweep somebody like the Pirates. The White Sox are coming to town. We got to do that too. But first things first, let's get Chase Petty a 6-inning quality start tomorrow. Let's turn that thing back over to the bullpen that went tonight, and let's get this thing out of here with the win and give ourselves an opportunity to be 500 coming home with an off day on Monday.
You're absolutely right. Just the one stat I did like on the broadcast about Connor Joe, 4th man since 1900 to have two hits in his Red debut. I kind of like that. And the one that really made me chuckle, I don't know if you heard it or not, when he was on the steal to second, Sadek said Connor Joe looked like a little kid sneaking to the refrigerator at night trying not to get caught by his mom, and now I can't see anything else. I'm like, oh, God. I was cracking up, man.
So you're a barber, man. Is that haircut good or is it not good? I'm not sure if I love it or hate it. Like
I can't get enough look. I can't get enough look at it, man. But he's got that undercut with the flow going in the back. It's definitely a whole look, man. I've definitely done more than my fair share of undercuts in my day. So, but
I feel like you'd be lead singing for Journey with that haircut. Like like there's a rock star vibe to whatever Connor Joe's got going on.
He fits right into he fits right into Brady Singer and the run supports, baby.
Hey, look at that.
We got a roll rock band going on.
Call back for those not in the industry, but. One stat that came through, and shout out to Reds fan Brandon on Base Machine on X, and Kirby actually sent this over to us tonight. Tonight is the fourth time in Reds history that they scored 10 plus runs in the first inning of a game, and the first time since 1989 when they scored 14 runs in the first inning, also against the Astros. They also scored 10 on July 19th of 1988. Not even born yet, versus the Mets, and 10 at the Cubs on 9-1 in 1947. Still wasn't born yet there either. I can't be alone when I say this, and Chad, I hope you can back me up on this one, but it is one of those deep-seated hatreds that I just remember as a kid watching this Reds team when the Astros were in our division. Lance Berkman, Roy Oswalt, Biggio, Bagwell, beating the brakes off of our dudes. And we're going out there with the Pokies and the Dimitris and the insert 90s Reds player here. Those guys just always seem to kill. I think Oswalt ran up like a 16-1 record against us before we finally started to tag him on the end of his career. But watching us win 9 in a row and we're coming into this thing, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a cool stat, especially when you're talking about where the Reds have been and where the Astros have been over the last couple of years when they played these 9 games. That's kind of a significant thing to talk about. And then they, beat us last night 3-0. I'm like, oh no, here it comes back. Here, there's the old Astros hate that I've got for them. And then to kind of flex the muscles and get 10 runs out of there. There's a lot of they've had this coming from us for a long time. When they were in the NL Central, weirdly enough, and I still can't believe that's one of the biggest injustices in sports to have more teams in a division than others when a division crown is what gets you into the playoffs. But that's for another. That's an offseason stuff. But when it comes to what they used to do to us and just the dominance that those guys had, and it always seemed like they had the Reds number when I was growing up as a kid. It's good to see us kind of flex this thing and get it going. So hopefully tomorrow we take a series from them. I know they're not winning baseball games at a clip that they're happy with in Houston either. So, it's going to be a dogfight. They're trying to get off the mat and get things going. They've got some young talent, but McCullers taking a step back has to deflate the sails on their end a little bit. Obviously 5 days away from another start for him, but we're going to figure it out. And hopefully, a battle on Mother's Day that if we can come out victorious again, come home 500, get an off day on Monday.
Absolutely. I saw our guy Ricky in the chat. We appreciate the kind words, brother. We thank you very much. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Please like the stream. Please go and subscribe. Look us up on YouTube or wherever you find your podcast for the next morning available. But spread the good word. Help us get the word out, man. Just two passionate Reds fans trying to get through it here, but we do appreciate the kind words, man. Thank you.
And through the week, I think Ricky's one of those guys that actually does our pregame shows as well. And if you're on your way down to the ballpark or if you're on your way home from work, those guys tuning in live on those, I believe it's just weekday games when they're doing the pre-show here on the Chatterbox website or on the Chatterbox YouTube. It's one of those. These guys are very in depth, and if you want stats and analysis, those dudes are 100 times better than Corey and I are ever going to be.
Nails, they are nails.
They're like the stuff that you hear from us, especially like if we ever have to do weeknight shows, I'm going to repeat half of what those dudes are saying through the week. So like, I'm very much a cherry picker. I need to probably fill out, I'm one of those guys in school that had to fill out the really long thing of sources of where you actually heard this thing from, because everything I had, and nowadays you can just use ChatGPT and rip the whole thing. But those dudes through the week are very intelligent and very stat driven and just a really good listen and can really get you excited to get down to the ballpark to see how these things play out. Because you have your analytical guys and you have your gut feeling guys, and a lot of times they clash. But I'm a gut feeling guy, but getting the opportunity to listen to those dudes before going into a Reds game, it's watching the stats that they talk about play out in life and be like, oh, that's out of the ordinary, or oh, that's what we expected, and oh, that's just the averages, kind of working themselves out. So kudos to those guys and what they do through the week, and all the guys on Chatterbox. I mean, there's a lot of really fun stuff getting moved around with these dudes, and yeah, it's a blast to be a part of it. I feel like we're attacking the Reds season the right way here on Chatterbox Reds.
Absolutely right. A big shout out to Chatterbox Sports. We really appreciate the opportunity as always. But one more special thank you. I know you and I wanted to get to, man, tonight being Mother's Day Eve. Special thank you to our mother, Linda Phillips, who was always behind the scenes, making sure everything was taken care of and doing all the dirty work and doing our laundry and that sort of stuff when we were creating our love for the game of baseball. And there was more than a couple Mother's Days where you and I went down to the ballpark and spent the day at the ballpark for Mother's Day, not because that was necessarily first on her list, but she knew that's what would make us happy, man. And if that doesn't tell you what you need to know about Linda Phillips, I'm not sure what does. But big thanks to Mom, and we definitely love you and appreciate everything that you do for us and our kids. And definitely want to give a special shout out to the wife that runs the glue that runs my house, Stacy. She is definitely the anchor to this ship. She keeps us going. So big shout out to the mothers everywhere. Happy Mother's Day, and hopefully the Reds can get us back to even on Mother's Day and start this Mother's Day week off right. Eric, special shout outs.
Yeah, no, Dev. I mean, my wife, Devin, mother of our two boys. Or of my two boys, she keeps everything afloat around here. Gives me the opportunity to have hobbies like going and playing golf, going down to Reds games with these guys all the time, sitting in on a Friday and Saturday night for a podcast that she's going to listen to. Her and the boys are probably upstairs listening to this thing live. And so when I'm ripping off cuss words and stuff like that, I hear about it the next morning from her. But absolutely love you, Dev. Happy Mother's Day to not just our family, but to everybody out there. If you're a mom, if you're listening in, that's awesome. Great way to start your Mother's Day as we approach 11 o'clock here, not quite to midnight, so we can't be the first ones to tell you, but everything that you do is appreciated. And we talk about our mom, and I feel like I remember getting in some serious trouble going down on Mother's Day one year, and they gave us pink Louisville Slugger bats as we walked in for Mother's Day, and I did something pretty stupid with one of those. And so, yeah, awesome fan giveaways on Mother's Day and Father's Day down there. I think we got like grill covers and stuff like that. Like I needed a grill cover at 8 years old. So, but awesome. And a very happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. And we appreciate all the support. We've got 450 in here tonight. This is, Corey and I talked about being a podcasters, before we had the chance with Chatterbox and just having this opportunity fall to us, and Nick and Trace and everybody taking the chance on us. We feel like we're a part of a really special family. And man, if this team gets going, you're going to see a lot of excitement here. And tell you what, if they're winning baseball games on Saturday nights, we'll always keep bringing back the beers. So cheers to you, chat. Cheers to a great night. We appreciate a fun Saturday night. Corey T, you got anything else for us?
As always, go Reds.